Good evening. We are starting our meeting today. I wish to welcome all of us to the class. Incidentally, this will be the end of our class today. Yeah, I want to share my screen and sharing my screen. I like to share my screen and um, a little challenge. Logging in. Like to get uh, okay, want to see how we can it's a challenge. Get to share my screen. Uh, little challenge. Sorry. The incidentally is going to be our last class for the semester, and our topic for today is problems of teaching moral education in Nigerian schools. Problems of teaching moral education in Nigerian schools. Remember, we are here for PED 233, which is religion and moral education. Religion and moral education. While we're waiting for our students to join up the class, we wish to remind us of our last lesson. Remember the last topic we taught the last topic was an examination in moral education. Examination, different types of examination in moral education. And then where we discuss types of examinations like the essay question, objective questions, completion tests, true and true or false kind of test, assignment type of test, evaluation through project, and of course, observation method. Observation method. So today, we're going to look at the problems of teaching moral education in secondary schools. Remember, I am your facilitator, Dr. Angela Abba. Dr. Angela Abba, Remember, we are teaching problems of teaching moral education in Nigerian schools. That's what we are looking at today. Problems of teaching moral education in Nigerian schools. Problem of teaching moral education in Nigerian schools. We are going to look at it at different angles. And the first aspect of it we are going to look at is the problem of teaching moral education in school. Proving how do we improve teaching moral education in secondary schools, and how do we make case for moral education in schools. And we are looking at it that by the end of this lesson, by the end of this class, I'm trying to share my screen. I hope you can see my screen. I'm yet to see any of the students join the class. Waiting to see my students join the class. This is unusual of you. We are running behind time. Anyway, just some minutes after 5. And I'd like you to come to class early so that we can cover up all that we have to do. And we are talking about problems of teaching moral education in Nigerian schools. The problems, what are the problems? Teaching moral education in Nigerian schools. What are the problems? I earlier started by saying that the last topic we did was we looked at types of tests in moral education. What kind of exams do we give moral education? We looked at the essay type of questions, we looked at the objective types of questions, the project giving questions in the form of project, we looked at the objective type of question. We like to admit one of our students, and also evaluation type of question. We are welcoming Aro Ode to our Vanessa. You're welcome.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening. How are you today?
I'm fine, ma. Fine, ma.
Welcome to the class.
So, thank you very much, ma.
Yeah. While we wait for others to join us, I was saying that last Tuesday, we were looking at a topic we find very interesting, the types of exams. How do we set exams in moral education? Remember, we looked at essay type of questions, we looked at the objective type of question, we looked at the evaluation type, we looked at the project types, and the rest of them. And I'm saying that today, which incidentally is going to be our last meeting, the last meeting for this semester, we are considering a topic we see as the problems of teaching moral education in Nigerian schools. Problems of teaching moral education in Nigerian schools. I remain your facilitator, Dr. Mrs. Angela Abba. So today, we're going to look at the problems of teaching moral education in Nigerian schools from 3 angles. First, we will look at the problem. Secondly, we're going to look at how do we improve teaching of moral education in schools. And lastly, we're going to look at how we can make a case for teaching moral education in schools. But particularly, we want to say that by the end of this lesson, we are expecting that our students should be able to identify, discuss fully various problems facing the teaching of moral education in Nigerian secondary schools. Again, we are expecting that the students should be able to provide solutions to the problems we have identified. Tell us how we can improve on the problems that is setting teaching of moral education in school. And how do we make case for teaching moral education so that moral education can be a continuous thing. It's not just going to die a natural death. So that students also will find it interesting in learning moral education as well as the teachers who are teaching the moral education. Good. Having said that, let us now look at the problem of teaching moral education in our secondary schools in Nigeria. What are the problems like? I like to share my screen. I hope you're seeing the screen. You can see the problems facing the teaching of moral education in secondary school. First, we are saying that we should, since the takeover of the missionary schools was made, you know, the takeover of missionary schools made moral education no longer compulsory. You know, before, the missionaries were handling schools in many states of Nigeria, but later, these schools were taken over by the real owners, by the state. Some are state schools, state secondary schools, some are private secondary schools. But before, the missionaries were handling them. The missionaries were handling them. I like to admit one of our students who have just joined us, and we wish to welcome him or her to I'm yet to see the name. When I see the name, I'll tell you who has joined our class, but I have admitted that person. So we're saying that one of the problems is certain teaching of moral education in school is inadequate qualified teachers. You know, when the missionaries were handling these schools, before the private owners and state took over the schools from them, they were doing moral education. There was joy. Children were taught to enjoy moral education. And in fact, the moral education data was made compulsory so that, you know, a specific time was allotted to it on the timetable. And during that time, you dare not let us admit Adam into our class too. I've just admitted him. So, but we are yet to see their faces. So, the secondary schools were being handled by the missionaries. Then it was almost impossible for any student to avoid doing moral education. And they were teaching very good, you know, way of leader, how you know your God, you see your God as the creator of the universe, how you can live in peace with your neighbor, how you cannot, you know, you love your neighbor as yourself, how you will not have the mind to harm the next person. See yourselves as one, no matter where you're coming from. Then the private owners took over and the state took over. So the next problem, the next challenge, teaching of moral education is having is that government preference to science and technology. This day, the government, you know, it seems like government schools, they prefer, okay, I like to admit, I have admitted them, but I'm here to see their faces. So the government took over the schools, and they prefer these days, they will say science, they're giving more preference to science education and technology. And this science and technology, it looks like it's a network that is worrying my students from joining the class. I've been able to admit some of them, but we're here to see their faces. So the government is laying, the state is laying more emphasis on science and technology, because they will think that is the in thing. Since we are going into, this period is more of intelligence stuff, creativity, and the rest. So that is one of the challenges. They are no longer giving serious attention to moral education. Another problem is that some parental preference for some professions like medicine. Some parents will prefer, my child will want to read, I want my child to read medicine. Make sure you read law, make sure you read engineering, go for engineering, computer or computer engineering, or go for other subjects, and they're paying little or no attention to moral education. So the next thing for moral education to have some challenges. And another thing is that there is this moral education is the moral education is being looked down these days on. It's not good. So that's one of the challenges of learning and teaching moral education in school. Again, it's not yet available as a course in tertiary institution. Moral education is not yet a course like we have medicine. Want to read medicine, want to read law, want to read nursing, want to read teaching, any of the teaching courses at all. Moral education is not yet a course to be taught in tertiary institutions. We see it as one of the problems, and we'd like to see the next thing we have in how do we do, what do we do to improve teaching and learning in moral education? What do we do to improve teaching and learning of moral education in our secondary schools this day? Yeah, the first thing, I'm already sharing my screen. The first thing we have there is that there is this changing status of moral education from elective to compulsory subject in schools. Before, when the missionaries were handling education, before the schools were handed over to private owners and the government, the missionaries were handling the school. And that time, the teaching and learning of moral education was compulsory. But these days, looks like it appears that teaching of moral education is no longer giving a very supportive hand, and there's no more serious discipline on a child who does not attend moral education class, and that is one of the challenges. And for improving the teaching of moral education, we have to ask, we pray that the government will make these subjects compulsory. We also say that people are suggesting that government and the secondary schools that belongs to the missionaries should be returned to them. And that will help to improve the teaching and learning of moral education in secondary schools, because it also helps to shape the right thinking, the right man, the you in you that is in you, for us to be very responsible citizens of the society. Also, where they are saying that special allowance or reward should be given to teachers of moral education. This one will boost their ego. It will also help them to have that morale. It will ginger their morale to be able to teach these courses very well. When it is time for moral education, they will bring out all their mind, so that they will not see moral education as just any course like that. No, it's going to be just like every other course that the students will have time to go to the class and learn it. You see, so we are saying that the government should be very supportive of moral education, and they should give the teachers special allowance. It will help to boost their morale. And then another point is that government should recognize more moral education as an important subject. Just like any other subject, like you have mathematics, you have geography, you have English, as they are given all the other subjects, recognizing them, let also moral education be recognized, and it will make people to have fun in learning and be serious in learning moral education. Again, we are saying that a new curriculum should be redesigned for moral education to be studied up to PhD level in tertiary institution. If some people today, like you are going to study master degree in education, after master degree in education, you go for PhD in education, and just like the other courses, if there's a room whereby someone can read moral education in a tertiary institution, after master degree, first degree, master degree, after the master degree, you go for the PhD. I mean, it will also help to improve the teaching and learning of moral education. Now, we want to look at the other points, how we can make points for, for teaching of moral education in school. So, I want to see how we can make a case for it. And then I hope my students are still hearing me. Vanessa, you are still hearing me? Hello, Vanessa.
Yes, ma. Yes,
okay,
ma.
Good, good.
Yes, ma.
How about Adam? Are you hearing me? Adam, are you hearing me? Oh, about 3 students have entered, but I'm not seeing them. Is your video on? Like my own is on? No, is your video on? Okay. So we are going into making a case for teaching of moral education. Well, moral education serves as a guide to both students and all recognition of good. When you teach moral education to children, it will also help them to, as you are teaching them, there are topics. There's topics that you emphasize on your doing the right thing, and why you should do the right thing, why you should be of very good behavior, and why you must not do a wrong thing. You tell a child, don't do this thing. The child should ask you, Mommy, why should I not do this? You will tell the child the implication of that thing. Just like the students in secondary school, you are saying, we are teaching you the essence of this moral education is to teach you to do the right thing always, and not to do the wrong thing. Because there is virtue in doing the right thing. There is also a reward in doing the right thing. It's not good to do the wrong thing. And why is it not good? You are supposed to now tell the child why it is not good. Every bad action has its own effect. And when you do bad, it will somehow backfire. And when it backfires, it will even be more serious that time. And it's also good to learn a good behavior. It's better, it's easier to learn a good behavior than to unlearn it. And that is why moral education is taught at the earlier stage. And that's why we encourage moral education. Because when children, as they listen to what you tell them in school, it will help them to fashion their good way of life. Secondly, moral education is a guide to do good. When you remember what your teacher taught you in school, if you look at the Christian religion, remember that when you talk about moral education, it comprises Christian religious studies, Islamic religious studies, and traditional religious studies, African traditional religious studies. All of us are African. And what does the Christian religious study say about? There are things we call good, how do we call it? Do unto others as you want others to do to you. The golden rule is also there in other religion. This is one of the things we teach in children in moral education. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. If you don't want anybody to smack you in school, don't go to school and smack someone. Because if you smack that person, the person has hand like you have. The person has two hands, you have two hands. You smack with your left hand, that person can smack hardly, very hard on you with the right hand. So you see, it has a repercussion. So if you don't smack anybody, nobody will smack you. If you don't step on any toe, no one will step on your toe. If you see, love your neighbor as yourself. You see, love your neighbor as yourself. If you don't love your neighbor will know that you don't love him or her. And definitely, there's no how he or she can love you. If you don't greet someone in the morning, if you come out in the morning and say, child, you don't greet mommy, you don't greet daddy, they will not be happy with you. Certainly they will ask, what is wrong with you? You mean you got up this early morning and you cannot say good morning, mommy, or good morning, daddy, or good morning, auntie. If you want someone, if you want to respect, you will also give respect. If they say that it is also in moral education that you're taught that respect is reciprocal. What you give out is what you get in. Garbage in, garbage out. What is in you is what you bring out. I remember one case like that when they said, is it in the United States of America when they were fighting, when they were having a challenge with one other country like that. So the country in the night, so there was this wall that divided them. They had to say, okay, let us run away from Turkey. They went to build a very high wall, but those other neighbors did not mind. What they did was, in the night, they went to pack all their garbage. They take this and that, all the nonsense they have, you know, that's all the debt they are supposed to throw away. They went to throw it across the fence of the other people. In the morning, when they got up in the morning, people who were sleeping in the morning, they now saw dirty all over their face, all over their places, all over, everywhere was smelling. They gathered and said, they called a meeting and they said, what do we do? One of them said, see, people give what they have. They have given us dirty and that's what they have. But we will not give them that. You know what we are going to do? We are going to give them what we have. No, what they did, they said, okay, everybody go shopping. They declared shopping that day. We go to shop for chicken, shop for granite oil, shop for indomie, shop for all that, all beautiful goodies you can think of. By the time they finish shopping all these things, they say, okay, by the time we say, oh, everybody, now throw the pack of 12 that lied everywhere. Then I say, okay, move all those things. As they were in the night, move all those things across to them. Because there was a fence dividing them. You know what? They moved all the beautiful things, goodies, candies, chewing gum, this, to them. By the time these people woke up in the morning, they saw those beautiful things. They said, we are these people, not the one that we gave death. We all our debris and everything we threw to them. Now what has happened? See what they have done. So people started shopping. You carry your carton of indomie. This one will come back carton of chicken. This one carry this. This one will carry this. You see goodness. And exactly what that author says. You give what you have. You don't give what you don't have. So you see, those people were happy. They packed. Shopping was free that day. And by the time they finished the shopping, they taught themselves lesson. And they said, oh, so these people, we are not thinking bad of us. You see, we gave them the thing. But what did they give us? They gave us goodness. Now, we shall continue to do good to them. Let us do good to one another. And that was how they became very best friends today. So you see, all these things are embedded in moral education. So another case we are making for moral education is that moral education helps to reform people's life. You see, remember the story I just told you. You see, those people, some children, I'm sure, some very sharp children will be asking their mom, mommy, how much did you spend in all these things you packed home today? My child will see now, let me tell you the story. You know that today, God buttered our bread for us. It was free shopping for all. You know what happened? These people, those people we used to call our enemies, we don't even know that they like us. Today, we went to shop, oh, what did we see? We now saw that they have done shopping and brought a lot of things to us. They brought a lot of things for us. And here we are, everybody shopping food. Everybody shopping food. And that is what has happened. So it's a result of moral, it is one of the things that moral education can do. So the next point on teaching moral education, case we want to make about moral education, for moral education, that it helps children to know God as their creator. You see, it helps children to know God as their creator. How? They know that man did not just fall from the sky. Nobody fell from the sky. Everybody was born by a human being. And then we all know and believe that there is a superior person, a superior being that created everybody. There's a superior being that created everybody. And that superior being is God. So it helps children to know that there's a superior being that created everybody. And we need to respect that superior being. The way we respect our mothers, our earthly mothers, our earthly father, and our seniors, that's the way we should also respect that supreme being, because he is the owner of our life. It is through moral education that it's taught to children. Catch the children young, because whatever you teach them young, they are not able to forget. Again, another case for moral education is that it strengthens good relationship. It strengthens good relationship. I hope you're seeing my screen. I'm sharing it. It strengthens good relationship. Remember the story I just told you? You see, those people were worst enemies. They were arch enemies. But you see, by the time they gave what they had, it was through someone's wisdom that the beautiful things they have. And as they gave what they have, that relationship was strengthened. They didn't see those people as their enemies again. Instead, they saw that those people loved them. Hey, you see, why we were thinking bad, when we were thinking evil for these people, we didn't know that they loved us. So, thank God. You see, the relationship became normal, cordial. It became cordial. They were now, everybody do your own thing, don't disturb the other person, find your own way, and go ahead, do it. Encourage yourselves and build upon your skill, and you can distinguish yourself by learning. And when you learn, you learn more things, you improve yourself, you enhance your capacity, and the rest of it. This is through things they teach children from early years in secondary school. So another point for a case for trying to see how a case can be made for teaching of moral education. We are saying that it encourages love, it encourages peace, it encourages unity, it distinguishes right from wrong. So you see, moral education, there is a lot of goodness in teaching moral education in secondary school. So we are saying that the teaching of moral education should go on, should continue. It should not be let down. Moral education should not be handled anyhow. And we should bring expert teachers who have passion in teaching this subject in secondary school, because the way you even teach the moral education, the way moral education is handled as a subject in secondary school, will make children to have love for it. It will encourage children to go for that class every time it is scheduled to be in the timetable. Again, we are saying that government of Nigeria should recognize and support the teaching of moral education because it is important. You see all these advantages we have seen about moral education. It is in favor of moral education. So our government should be able to encourage teaching of moral education because it is very important, because it is necessary to listen, to read if you're a Christian, you read your Bible and see what God, your creator, the owner of life, is teaching you. These are the do's, so these are the don'ts. You don't do this. If you do this, you become a better person in future. You will become a good citizen that will improve Nigeria, your nation. If you do this, look at the repercussion. Look at what you're going to get in excess. What you give out is what you receive. And if you have a moral in you, you do the right thing. Also, in Islamic Quran, you will see that they teach goodness. There is goodness. They teach children that they learn early in life and learn who their creator, Allah, is early in life and knows the do's and don'ts of Allah because He is your creator. Remember, we have been talking about problems of teaching moral education. We went as far as looking at how do we improve the teaching and learning of moral education in secondary schools, and we are going far to also forward to make a case for teaching of moral education, not against it. If you are talking against it, it means that you are saying that it should not be taught again in school because it is not, there's no need, it's not necessary, it's useless. But if we are teaching other subjects in school, we should also give the same priority, give the same time, and the same energy we are spending in teaching other subjects. We're also encouraging children to also give the same time at the same, form that put in learning other subjects in school. You should not, because some of them will say, after all, is it not moral education? We will pass it. If that's you say like that, what if you fail a thing? Because teaching and learning is the same in every subject. We want to look at our next topic. Before we do this, we want to look at go through what we have learned before, and we want to. Some of you came in late. So we have been talking about problems of teaching moral education in Nigerian schools. And I've earlier told you that today might be our last lesson in PED 233. This is a 200 level course. You do it, and next year you're doing another course in PED. Those of you that are doing primary education, and remember that we say that this PED 233, sorry, is religion and moral education. It is a course of 4 modules, which is made of 15 units. And you're going to do this course within from the first chapter to the last chapter, from first unit to the last unit, for you to be able to write well in this exam. And remember that as a 200 level student, your exams will come in computer based, like you have your laptop, you have your mouse, you will navigate shift your mouse and look at where your cursor is blinking. As your cursor is blinking there, when you click, your first question will drop and you will answer. It comes in either essay type, where you will ask a question and you use your keyboard to put the answer either in you write you type the answer. You are not just going to we are not going to test you as in your speed of that. No, just for you to know how to handle your mouse, know how where your cursor is blinking, know when you do the first question, and when you answer it, you send it in, and the next one will drop for you. And remember that you have to be doing your TMA. Hope you have done your first TMA. The second TMA is on now. Your first TMA, your internet connection is unstable. I don't know why this internet connection, and that's why I'm not seeing my students. The connection is very poor. I hope you are still hearing my voice. Hello, my students.
Yes, ma.
You are still hearing my voice?
Yes, ma.
Okay, what about Adam? Are you hearing my voice? Olashade, are you hearing my voice? I don't know why the network is too bad today. The network is too bad today, but we have to try. So I was saying that you have to make sure that you do your TMAs, your TMA. Your TMA is very, very important. Remember the first TMA, second TMA, third TMA, 3 of them will give you 10 marks. Vanessa, you have done your first TMA?
Yes, ma.
Good. Why is this thing running?
I've done the second one.
Eh?
I've done the first and the second one.
Beautiful, beautiful. Good. They
I've done both.
Okay, they said that we have 10 minutes more. So what we need to do is you will also do the third one. By the time you finish the third one, you will have prepared yourself 30 marks out of the 100 marks you're supposed to get. So what you will be doing, struggling for during the exam is 70 marks, 70%. That 70% is very easy for you to have it because you ought to build up your confidence. When you build up your confidence and enter the exam hall, you must have read your materials very well. We are saying that your question will come in MCQ. I've told you before, and MCQ, multiple choice question, MCQ. The second one is FBQ. FBQ. Fill in the gap. Fill in the bracket. Fill in the bracket. So in MCQ, multiple choice, there are going to be some options, A, B, C, D. And then when they ask a question, the other options will come out and you're supposed to click on the right option. Then, when you click on the right option, you send it before the next question will drop for you. In case of FBQ, fill in the bracket or fill in the blank space. Fill in the blank question, or fill in the blank space. What you need to do is that one, there won't be any option, there will be no alternative. There won't be any multiple choice question. They can just ask you. National Open University of Nigeria was established in the year dash. You already know that National Open University was established in 1983. So your own is to look at your keyboard, position your arrow, position your cursor to that space provided. When you position it there as it is blinking, you go to your laptop and go to the upper part of the keyboard and you type 1983. And then when you click on it, make sure that it has entered. Then you go to the next question. They can also ask you, National Open University was suspended in the year dash. You put it 1984, and it was also resuscitated in which year? That is 2000, the year 2002, and you have your NEET scored. You go to the next one, and don't waste your time in any course, any
Ma, I can't hear. It's like you're mute yourself, ma. I can't hear you, ma. You're mute. You, yes, I can't hear you. Mm. So mute yourself, ma. Mute yourself. I can't hear you.